Greetings, humanity, and welcome to the Lost Caravan. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and here at the Caravan they do all manner of things in the TTRPG sphere. Tonight, we are doing the first part of Lights Out, a two-part investigation in Monster of the Week using the Gothic century setting. I'll be describing a little bit more about what's happening at the moment, but suffice to say we are in New York in 1886. And we're going to go around and say hi to everybody, see who we have with us and who they're playing. As I glance over here, I'm going to go around on the order of the overlay, left to right. And so we're starting with Daniela. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm Daniela everywhere on the internet. Tonight I am playing the very spooky Eva Merland, a spiritualist, a communer of spirits, a messenger of the dead, so to speak.
Excellent, excellent. And now we're going to head over to Lonnie. Hello.
Hello. I am Lonnie or Looney Shaz, but I am playing tonight Esther Hadley of the Cobblestone Chronicler, and we'll see how many times I stumble over saying that.
This is going to bring me such joy. Excellent, excellent. And now we're going to head over to Amiri. Hello.
Hello, I'm Miri. I go by they, them pronouns. I'm going to be playing, I am Mirandimia on almost all platforms except Twitter, that I am real Mirandimia at because someone stole it. I will be playing Silas. He's a priest. It's gonna be fun. I'm just gonna go say, he's in love with the demon. It's gonna be fun.
Excellent, excellent. And now we will head over to Mikey. Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mikey Fatum. My socials are complicated, and I will not go into them until the end of the show. But I go by he, him pronouns, and I am playing Blake, who also goes by he, him pronouns, and is a holy investigator of sorts.
Yes, of sorts. Excellent, excellent. And now finally we will head over to Robin. Hello.
The Ginger Brigade on Twitch and Blue Sky. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Morrigan Harker. I know it's a little on the nose, but people get the joke. Because I am playing the Monstrous playbook in our two-part series this time. So this will be fun. Well-ish to do, but that's about all you really need to know right now.
Yes. Yes. Well, things will be revealed as we discuss them, and as just stuff happens, and we'll sort of see what happens. Let's see. So this is taking place in an interesting year, in that locally it is an election year. There's a mayoral election happening in 1886, so there are going to be banners everywhere. There are three main parties running right now, and it's a sort of Democratic Party, the Labor Party, and the Republican Party, who is fronting a fellow by the name of Teddy Roosevelt. And I don't know how involved that's going to be with everything. It may have absolutely no bearing on anything. We'll see. I have no idea what's going to happen. That's one of the beauties of these kinds of games. So, the first thing I just want to check in on here before we get fully going is I want to make sure we've got all the, any connections set up that we wanted to set up with our characters. These folks are all supernatural investigators. We know that much about them so far. But I wanted to make sure that we have... We've got as much connective tissue in there as everyone wanted to have with the "how do I know you" type thing going on. So I just wanted to check in and see if if we're good there. Did anyone want to make any connections that they did not get to make with any of the other PCs?
I'm open to more because I don't think I actually really made any. I think Robin and I talked really briefly during Slug Blaster, but
I gave you the one.
Yeah, so we got the one.
Yeah. Is there anybody is there someone you're not connected to that you'd like to be?
I may have forgotten a significant amount of what I set up originally, but I'm pretty sure I set up enough connections and was just gonna find out as my memory just like kicks in.
Sounds
Yeah.
like
It'll happen.
we can also just make some on the fly.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's always happened. Yeah.
Basically, I know everyone's secrets, so.
Fair. Absolutely fair. So are we good on connections? Are we?
Yeah, I think we're
Is
good.
there anything? All right. So there is a thing that has been happening that you all are gathering to investigate. It's a series of murders that have taken place. You think it's murders. Well, here's the problem. It's unclear as to whether these things were murders or not, but they've been kicked to unusual status. And before we fully enter play, I'm going to check in and see sort of how we find out about that. We were sort of talking about the possibility of Lonnie's character getting wind of things and communicating with everyone. Are we good with that? Is that something we want to roll with?
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
to me.
I'm okay
Okay.
with that and kind of trying to get a team together to follow the story.
Excellent. Cool. What we know, and this is something that not everyone has put together and decided is important because it's the 1880s. Death still happens rather a lot. Life is still it's not completely cheap, but fairly cheap, fairly inexpensive right now, and so it's been about I want to say almost a week now. And as of this morning, there have been 6 victims. They have all, as they've all been found, have there been 6 victims or have there been 5 victims? That's an excellent question. I think as far as anyone knows at this point, there have been 5 victims. It's hard to say whether there have been any more because more surface. And so it's hard to say. There are 2 that surfaced on one day. And so it's, but right now the details are fairly scarce. So the main thing I need to tell you is that they appear to have been, burn victims. But not really any witnesses to how it happened. There's thought is someone going around doing, being a mad arsonist or something. Not a lot of unusual fires or anything seem to have happened lately. So it's hard to say. Yes, I'll say right now we can confirm as of this morning that we know there's a 5th victim. So as you are gathering your stuff to try to sort of get everyone together, I need to ask, first of all, across the board, before we jump into anything, does anyone have a move that is a start of session move that they need to use at this time?
I do.
All
I can
right,
get
tell us about that.
permissions. So I get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen.
Excellent. So yeah, I would say that this is the time then to
I
go
don't have
ahead
to
and
roll
roll
for
that.
it. I should, yeah.
You would think you would know, but do the spirits tell us? Because for some reason on the sheet it says roll plus weird, so I imagine that you're gonna get. I want to be clear about this. You're gonna get a premonition regardless of the outcome of this roll. I just want to see how good or bad news it's going to be.
Okay.
So roll plus weird, if you would, please.
All right. Do I just click the dice beside the little number?
Yeah, if you click the die next to it, it should come out.
Okay.
Okay. You have a 7. That is a hit. So on 7 to 9, you get clouded images of something bad that is yet to happen, and if you stop it, you'll mark experience. So Details are not much for us. How is this that as we're seeing you start this? How do you normally get your visions? These sorts of premonitions.
Literally out of the blue, I will just be like washing some dishes or making some tea or having a conversation with a friend, and like little snippets of images like just begin to like pop in my head, like memories of
Yes.
something that has never happened.
Excellent. Good. So yeah. So this does pop up kind of like, then I guess it's almost like a dreamlike quality. Because it's like suddenly you have this memory that it's like, if you're in the middle of a dream, it's like, oh, this has always been the case.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you wake up, or you're close to waking up, or even in the dream itself, it's like, wait a minute, this isn't like that at all. So I think that what you're going to see is like, you sort of are starting to remember it. Like, I don't, is there anybody nearby when this happens today, or is this or are you by yourself?
I'd probably be with others. Do we have, like, the group of us, do we have like a hangout location or somewhere that we frequent to see each other?
Maybe like a park,
Hmm.
and like there's like a little sitting area that has like chess tables and like benches.
Yes.
Absolutely. Funny thing, I mean, if you want to go Washington Square, that exists now.
Okay.
Washington Square Park, which is kind of in the middle of the area we're talking about, Greenwich Village. The arch has not been built yet, but it is the park is still there. Also, by the way, I needed to give a disclaimer. I am not an historian. I just read too much sometimes. So I don't know if anything that's going to come out of my mouth is real or not. So we're saying this is similar to, but legally distinct from actual history. Anyway, so who are you with at Washington Square Park right now?
I'm probably with Esther and Silas.
Okay, excellent. So since you're starting this off, tell us. I'm going to tell you. What order do I want to do this in? I'm going to give you the vision first, and then I'm going to want everyone to describe what they look like, what we see, kind of as the camera is coming out. But first off, you have this point where it's a little odd, where you're just sort of looking and you're kind of starting to recall a point. It's like it's daytime. There's this strange thing about, like, shouldn't those street lights be out? Something was wrong with the street lights. And you sort of get this image as you look sort of past toward the edge of the park. It's got these sort of areas. You're on sort of cobblestones or bricks at this point, and sort of little garden areas throughout. You've got the fountain. The fountain's the sort of big central feature right now. And you sort of remember seeing, now you're seeing, it's like at the edge, it's like street lights stopped working in the middle of the night. There was just this sudden, they all shut down. And then there were a lot of little fires burning, candles and what have you. Lanterns were being brought out. And then it was like those lanterns suddenly, those lamps, street lamps suddenly started erupting in a blue flame. And the fountain itself started firing blue flame that rises up and comes forward for a moment, almost to consume you, and then you snap out of it. And it occurs to you, you don't have much time, but you're not sure how how much is not much. What do we see? What do you, when we look at you as you're coming out of this vision?
I was probably like mid-conversation with the other two, probably talking about something completely unrelated. And then like halfway through a sentence, I just abruptly stop. My eyes go glazed and shadowy, and I just seem to be like focused on like some point off in the distance. And I just stay up like boat frozen for a few moments. Then after a few moments elapse, I'll gasp, come to, and then very casually say, there may potentially be some fires in the future. I might be engulfed. A blue flame of fountain, or a fountain of blue flame, more like. We should probably be cautious of water and fire going forward. Anyways, what was I saying previously?
I'm frantically writing everything down, trying to make sense of it as I'm like noting it down on the notebook I always have in front of me. And I look up kind of wide-eyed. Can't recall. Going back to writing.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Make sure you get the fountain part down. That seemed relevant.
Fountain
Yes.
underlines it like 7 times.
What do you look like?
Me?
Yes.
Dressed in a rather like a slightly formal gown for daytime wear, comprised of layers of black lace, high collared. I have kind of long dark black hair with like small streaks of gray, wound up in a very loose bun behind my head. Probably a face heavy with makeup, probably mid 40s woman, a bit slender and pale.
Excellent. And the next person we saw speak was Esther. What does Esther look like?
So Esther, if you've ever played BioShock Infinite, Esther is kind of based off of like her look is kind of based off of Elizabeth. So think, like a kind of like a higher necked white shirt with a little bit of like the sailor collar and a little necktie around. And one of those skirts that like the kind of dark academia Gothic skirts that have the buttons going down it. And she basically has like a curly brown bob, like just clean cut straight at the like the nape of her neck. And she is, you can't really get a good look on her eyes because she is probably always looking at her notes or writing in her notes, or maybe she's looking off into the distance, but at the same time, like, she's not going to be looking at making a lot of eye contact.
Excellent. And we're panning now over to Silas, who was about to say something. And let us know what Silas looks like, and then let us know what Silas is saying.
Okay. Silas is white man. Say like late 40s, early 50s, sort of. Kind of streaks of gray in his hair, kind of cropped, short in the back, long strands in the front. Notable thing, he has a left earring that's kind of like loose dangling, and it has a blue kind of crystal hanging from it. And then he's usually wearing his kind of black priest attire and stuff. When he's out and about, he's just kind of casual. He doesn't like wear any fancy like adornment or anything. But he kind of puts his hands to his lip as he's listening to Eva rattle off all the details, and then he's like, blue fire, you said?
Yes, blue flame. Yes.
Blue flame. Okay. That doesn't bode well.
Not necessarily. I'd rather not get burned.
I don't believe you will, but
Yeah, excellent.
I don't know about the water part.
These things are often nonsensical until they happen, so.
Sounds like him.
Yeah. I'm sure that. It seems excessive, but it is perhaps reminiscent of something. Is this where you've decided to meet, or are you meeting somewhere else today?
I think perhaps we just decided for a quick meetup in the park, something leisurely.
So and I assume the call has already been put out. So who arrives next?
Are we gonna have a war to see who's fashionably latest?
Go ahead, Mike.
No. I want to be last.
No, you're up,
you,
Shumbo.
you go first because considering what time of day it is.
I was about to say, like,
Yeah,
are we having
that's
someone
true.
show up in the middle of the day?
That's true. That's
So
true. All right.
I'm going to state that because I did state daytime. I'm going to use. I can't say too much right now without revealing too much, but I will say that there are rules in place for things like this in established lore, and so we will say it is possible, if that's all right with you.
I already have a way of doing it narratively. It's perfectly fine.
Excellent.
I
We're
thought
good
ahead.
then.
But yeah, Mikey, go ahead first, please.
Okay. Sure. So I don't think you guys see Blake walk up. You're just sort of talking, and then all of a sudden he's leaning on a tree. He's another white guy. He's got blonde hair that you can never quite tell if he dyes himself or if it's natural. And he's got he's dressed to the absolute bare minimum of acceptable in society. He's got a dress shirt, but it's open. He's got a top hat, but it's kind of old and worn. And he's wearing this long jacket that's just kind of dramatically blowing in the wind as he leans there. And he's, as usual, fiddling with this very old quill in his hand. Loves? I had the call winner.
You're late.
Had to check in on a few things on my way here. Looks like everything's tip-top shape, though. So what seems to be the problem?
Was anything on fire as you approached?
Sorry?
On fire.
Metaphorically, love, or...
Potentially.
Anything at this point.
Alright. Well, I didn't so much notice actual fire on my way here. Suppose you could say London's always burning. But,
I suppose.
We're not in London, we're in New York.
So I suppose you could say New York's always burning.
There are more songs about London burning, but New York has possibly had a bigger concentration of fires lately. When I say lately, within the last 100 years. Sorry, go ahead.
But no, nothing literally on fire. If you want me to look into metaphorical fires, I could ask some questions, I guess.
We'll stay physical for now. Potentially blue.
Blue?
Yes.
Well, that's fast.
Yeah.
Do I know anything about, like, what different colors of fire represent? Like, the fire
I will
on
tell
my
you-
chain is white, for example.
Yeah, I will tell you that it's really often, honestly, it's going to vary depending on interpretation. By and large, you have seen certain. There have been certain different colors of fire are popular among different sort of ideas, beliefs, what have you. And there are there are places where, let's just say, with the advent of the gas fires, things of that nature that are under more direct control, that blue flame has become a popular thing in some places. Green flame as well. They like that. But there's been something of a movement for things like that in certain places where they like to get industrial with things.
Okay. Nothing supernatural coming to mind. Some industrial uses for green flame or blue flame, but
Incidentally, also, if you feel your character should know something and I'm a little too cryptic, please let me know and I will be more explicit. Because your character knows some stuff about angels and demons and things like that a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
There have been, I mean, there are demons the types of demons that use blue flame. It's that has kind of come up recently. There was a thing about that recently, but whether it's that's what it is or if it's a coincidence, hard to say.
Okay, good to know. So Blake's gonna be like, I'm not. Could be demon stuff.
Demons.
Yeah. Sometimes...
Something demonic. Okay, that's interesting. That's easy. That's simple. Silas, perhaps you could be more of assistance with that.
Yes, sounds
Perhaps.
like Silas is more helpful there.
I'll do some poking around.
Before we go too much further, I just want to know if we're going to have Morrigan appear.
Yes, where is
Definitely
Miss
probably the
Harker?
last one to show. She is wearing like dark purple and black, nice, like what would be not gaudy fancy, but like nice of the time period, to like the nice bustled skirt and thing like that. Every part of her that she can cover with fabric, she covers, to the point where even she wears gloves on her hands that aren't laced, like full coverage gloves. They're still thin leather, but it's coverage. And whatever she can't cover, she has a parasol to block the light as she joins you all in the park.
I was just thinking giant luchador mask,
No. She has long black hair. She's very pale. And her features are a little bit more, I don't want to say chiseled, but they're definitely sharper than a normal woman of the time. Did we have to meet in the park, really?
I mean, if you had a better suggestion, you should have voiced it earlier.
Oh, cool. Very nice. Did you get a booby?
She stifles a yawn behind her hand.
Oh, but now you got.
I'm normally not awake right now.
Yeah.
You know that.
If you have a more preferred setting, please do share, or just put it in here.
It's fine. So what did I miss? I'm assuming I missed something.
Potentially something demonic. Blue flames pouring out of a fountain, perhaps engulfing me at some point. We should be wary of water and fire, and perhaps fountains overall. Maybe demons too, but we can ask Alice about that.
Did the fountain look like any fountain in particular? Could you describe it? Maybe we can narrow down what fountain in New York we're supposed to be looking at.
Can I relay? Like, there's a general description of the fountain?
Well, you saw it here. You imagined this vision happened as though you were right here. So it's this fountain.
Oh,
I'll just like point to the fountain. That one.
all right.
Oh, also up to 5 victims now.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh gosh.
wonderful.
Fire has
Okay.
anything to do with the fire of the burn victim. There were 5 burn victims, blue flames. Do you think blue flames would have the same effect? Or do you think you'd be able to tell if it was a blue flame that burnt somebody?
Excellent questions. Who here has touched fire?
I mean, you know.
And?
It's a little party trick.
I suppose.
I,
Time
as
to
far
time.
as I know, now admittedly, I'm sure there's some weird things that happen with supernatural fire, but as far as I know, burns look the same no matter what color the flame is.
Maybe a bit crispier.
Interesting. Bit crispier.
Either me or somebody else know that different colored flames can be made with different chemicals. Like, okay.
Yeah, anyone who has played with chemicals would know that. That yes, absolutely, that's a thing. Anyone who's had any experience in stage work would know that too, or industrial work, or if you had experience with magical flame for whatever reason, then you would know that that's also a thing that you can basically make them look different depending on what it is. Chemical blue flame generally is hotter and much worse. By and large.
Well, shall we go over to the fountain and check it out?
It's good enough, as good a place to start as any.
And
Yeah.
I guess keep on forgetting. I have to go back to names. Miss Merlot, you can take a few steps back, I suppose, if you're wary about the water.
Perhaps I will.
Where do you think we should be?
Silas will kind of like pounce up from his seat and walk over to the fountain.
Yeah. And I will tell you, Eva, is that as this is all going on, you're realizing it might not even be specific to this place, but it just because you happen to be here might be why you saw the vision as being here. But at the same time, it's good to check. Silas, what you doing?
He's gonna go over to the edge of the fountain, just kind of peer at it and sort of like run his hand along the edge of the edge of the fountain.
Oh God! Oh, the edge of the fountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a term. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
But yeah, I mean it's a lovely fountain. It's much newer back then. But
see.
so as you're running hand, nothing seems unusual about the fountain as far as you can tell. Just sort of looking at it, it's operating normally. It's is there something you would like to learn about the fountain, or is there something you'd like me to tell you?
I want to see if there's like, because usually like waters is sort of like reflective and can act sort of as a portal sometimes. So I guess Silas wants to peer to
Yes.
see if there's like, I guess, magic with it or like a portal plane.
Do you have a move associated with that? I think you do.
I think
I remember right.
is it the one, the
We-
forensic divination that we discussed?
I
Or is
think
it-
there was the it was the thing that it adds to investigate a mystery. I think if I remember correctly, if it's the one we were talking about.
Yeah.
Let me check one thing though.
Okay.
I think you're actually
Or is it just under?
this one. I'm not going to make you roll for,
Okay.
and we will talk about why in a moment.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the thing and where did you put it on your sheet somewhere? Did you add it?
Yeah, it was forensic divination.
Forensic
see.
divination. There it is.
Yeah.
Forensic divination. Excellent.
try to see.
Would it not be nice if I were to open my my files and actually have the files I should have loaded up in front of me
Yeah.
already? It would be great, wouldn't it?
What magic was done
let me do
here-
that.
Yeah. What magic was done here to the
Um,
list of questions when you investigate a mystery?
Yeah, so I am remembering right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll for this one. You recognize, looking at this fountain, that there's not currently any supernatural activity about it, but it definitely has the potential, because so much interest and import was placed into this fountain when it was constructed. Yeah, it could definitely be used as a gateway. It is not currently a gateway.
Okay. Would there be like runes etched into the edge of the fountain? That would
It's
be.
not. Yeah, it's not one of those
One of
kinds
those.
of fountains. It's
Okay.
like, if you want to, it'd be more like something wants to use it as like a scrying pool. So that any rune
Okay.
etching would have to be done at the time for this one.
Okay.
So yeah, nothing already scritched into there, as
Okay.
far as we're aware. Not here, but yeah, like it's a thing where it's like, if such a thing as was described happened, it would probably be because someone had activated it in, using their own will or using another means.
Mm-hmm.
So like, this is a perfectly viable tool to use as such a portal. It is not one currently.
Okay. Has anyone else followed me to the fountain?
Yeah, I'll walk over.
Okay. So I guess Silas will kind of just be like, well, nothing magic about this here, however. It is in pristine condition. So it could be used for just about anything.
All right. Doesn't give us a ton to go on.
Unfortunately, no.
You will hear my character, without moving from where she's sitting, you'll hear her yell out, "Alfie!" And then she'll make eye contact with somebody who's like kind of just wandering aimlessly around the park away from us, who's holding a camera. And she's gonna kind of like, when he makes eye contact with her, she's gonna kind of like do the pointing, snapping, like point to take a picture of the fountain. Just in case anything interesting, he'll have a permanent, he'll have a permanent picture of it.
Yeah. Where is Alfie from?
I think he's local. And I think basically, I was willing to, like, the Cobblestone Chronicler is willing to kind of look for new talent, because we're kind of a smaller magazine, or a smaller newspaper. So I think he's local, and it's basically just, here's a camera, see if you can figure out, get some good pictures. We're looking out for you, kid.
Okay. He's a bit younger, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I call him Alfie instead of Alfred, because
Yeah. Yeah.
teenagers
like-
called Alfred.
He's like,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. Sort of like, yeah, sure thing, Miss Hadley. Hang on. And he sort of scrambles with his camera a little bit, sort of getting it in place, and he is setting up. And
Blake
you
is
can
going
see
to
that he's
slink back away from the fountain, just be like, "Sorry, love. I don't adore photographs of myself."
Oh yeah, whatever. And he's setting up his. I think he's going to try to do this on the fly quickly instead of setting up the tripod. And so it just depends on how much time you have. He's doing this thing where he's trying to hold the camera with one hand while getting the flash powder out. Just kind of trying.
I'm gonna walk over to him and kind of like put one hand as support underneath the camera, kind of like I've done it a million times. Like, yeah, I'll get a better picture if I do it this way, and kind of just.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Miss Hanley. Thanks. And so he's.
Working, Alfie.
Oh God. Okay, I have to pick something. I have to pick something now because I'm gonna drift all over. I'm gonna bounce all over the place if I don't pick this now. So I just need to know if we're going more. I'm just gonna keep this simple. Are we going more Bronx or Brooklyn?
Oh, I'm gonna say Brooklyn.
Okay. And so yeah, and so he's yeah. Hang on, just a second. I got it, and I got it, and he'll start taking the pictures, and so he puts in the plate, snaps, pulls the plate, removes the cap, flash comes out, and he'll take like 3 pictures. I'm going to assume he has a supply. We don't need to worry about such details.
Own,
So
his own character, like his own bag of stuff.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't work. It doesn't count into my encumbrance. It's his separate.
No, not at all. No, he's carrying. He always carries more than he should, probably. But so he darts around and he takes pictures of the fountain. He's taking pictures of the fountain from 3 different angles.
Okay, that's why he's my 3rd recording device.
Nice.
Excellent. So, what is while this is going on? Is Morgan doing anything?
The street lights in there's lights in this area too. Like
There are street lights here, yeah, just
Okay.
at the edges of the park. I'm trying to think if they have any. Yeah, they've got some lamps in the park too.
Okay.
Um,
Is this the, because this is where my brain's going. Is it the beginnings of when the lamp lights are still gas, or is this beginnings of electric?
We have some parts of the city. There are a number of parts in the cities that are rapidly becoming more electric. This park, Washington Square is an important enough park that they'd have electric lights here at this point. I'm going to say not all of the lights in the park are electric yet, but that has started. The biggest section, the first section that right now Broadway up in the theater district is the street lights are all electric. You come further south. It gets more scattered. You've got electric lights all the way to the south of the island, but it gets more scattered the further south you go.
Okay. Because if the ones that Eva saw were gas, would we know where the gas supply is coming from for the city?
Eva, did you, well, interesting question. Yeah, I mean, you could find that out if that's the case. It's just basically a question of how you want to handle that. Is this a thing you speak of?
Oh, yeah. Morgan approaches this stuff more scientifically before going into the supernatural side of it. So she would basically be looking up at one of the street lamps and looking to make sure that these were gas, not electric, and then kind of wandering back over to Ava. And you said you saw flames out of those?
Just to refresh my memory, did I see flames coming out of the streetlights?
You did see some street lights had flames coming out of them. Yeah.
Yes, those as well.
The ones that she points out are electric.
Fire appears to be a common theme, and of course these things aren't always very literal, but yes, the ones that I did see had flame.
That is one thing I was going to bring up, love. It does seem you know, a lot of times we you get one of these things and we go and stare at a cat for a while, and then it turns out the cat was a metaphor for an Egyptian god or something like that.
We're supposed to know what they mean, and sometimes cats are delightful.
Well, it was a delightful afternoon. Don't get me wrong.
I cannot control how the dead convey their messages to me.
No.
Much gets lost in translation,
Love.
I understand.
Love, I'm not criticizing the visions. I'm saying maybe we're taking it a little too literally. Like maybe we are taking it a little too literally and staring at this fountain and the street lights and such. Maybe we should think a little longer about what fire overwhelming from every... Well, let's see. Fountains and streetlights, those are sources of, like, comfort, right? So fire bursting out of things that make people feel comfortable and safe, maybe that's the angle that we're looking at?
Perhaps it could represent warmth and comfort. Perhaps it could represent passion and romance, you know? Maybe they're a couple in love. Maybe they're just Italian.
Murdered 5 people. You see,
Yeah.
like I understand passion, but 5 burned bodies passion?
They were crimes of passion. Maybe they were all having affairs.
Fairs, specifically set on fire.
I
No,
don't know.
As weird as it sounds, there is an angle in that.
There generally is.
I do want to let Esther know one thing I have before. Not to interrupt terribly, but I just want to. Just one thing I am remembering that I do want to let you know. That the body that they found, that has been found this morning, has probably not been hauled away yet. If you decide you would like to look at any of the sites, you know where the sites are, where the body's dropped. If that's a thing you're interested in, you don't have to be. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that the body, the 5th body, is still there, probably.
I would say that's very good to know. And while all of this is happening, I think she's taking notes, trying to keep up with all this like random logic of like maybe this, maybe that. And then kind of nonchalantly as she's writing, like, should we go see the body now? I feel like that's quite important.
The body's still available for viewing.
The New York police don't work that fast.
Yeah, I think that would probably be a better use of our time than...
We can debate romances and burning passion on the way if we'd so like to, but it kind of seems important to maybe get closer to the actual crime.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Couldn't agree with you more, love.
And she'll kind of like stand up, kind of like collect her notebook. She also has a sketchbook kind of just in her arms. And I'm going to start walking in the direction that I'm going to hope that I know I'm correctly going in.
Sure. Yeah, you are heading, stand by. Yeah, it's not far from here, actually. It's a little south. It's at the northeastern edge of the valley, which is in present day Soho, and sort of the corner of the valley, and right next to the Lower East Side. Yes, the police aren't working very fast because right now it's like I said, it's an election year, so. The bribes that they are taking to try to push for certain candidates are taking precedent over everything else. Tammany Hall wants to stay in control if they possibly can. So you're going to make your way down there, you folks. If I'm assuming everyone's are we done to the park?
Yeah.
Was there something? I'm sorry. I know Morgan was looking at a thing. Was there something still?
I'm good.
Are you good? All right. So you make your way down. again, I'm not gonna get specific with street addresses or anything right now. But it's like I said, it's an intersection that's kind of on the edge of things. South end of Greenwich Village, northeast end of the valley, west side of the Lower East Side is where this site is. You're going to see that sort of in this area, the buildings in the valley are a little bit lower than the buildings around it. That's why it's called the valley. Yeah, I'm sure they actually could have gotten there much faster if they'd had a guide. But these things happen. No. So we're gonna say that at this point, you've got there are some sort of manufacturers, theaters in the area. So there's shopping and entertainment. But it also has a seedy reputation, so there is, kind of connections to red light districts, that kind of thing. So basically, it's the folks who do not have quite as much money as the people in other areas. Let's see. There is we're going to say in this fictional version of the city that there are a couple of shops. There's a church a little ways up, and
is it Silas's church? Just
there's a meat market
for reference. I just don't know where Silas's church would be in
Silas,
comparison
which denomination are you?
Since he's a priest, I'm assuming Catholic.
Easily enough. In this city there are many denominations. You have Catholics and Protestants, who even just a decade ago, the Irish variety of these folks went at it and caused a lot of damage, fighting each other. But so they're sizably both. But things have calmed down a little bit, at least. People have since more Irish folk are in charge now of Tammany Hall. If you are Catholic, you have been left alone more. Because it's through the gangs, it's kind of like, hey, don't do that. So it's entirely possible. What do you think? Is it one of yours?
Think so. Just because, I don't know, that seems like a good place for a church to be.
Hey.
It's not I don't know, doesn't care to preach to the overly wealthy.
That's fair. That's very fair. So you've got basically you got a meat market, you've got a church, you've got a place that you've got a place that sells different kinds of different types of cans and bottles and things like that, and then you have there's a small sort of little hotel type deal on the corner, sort of boarding house on these four corners. And you see there is the police wagon is here. There is in an alley near the site, and you see there are a couple of there's an officer on duty, kind of wearing the long blue coat and just kind of bored, watching back and forth, trying to keep people away from the body, which is lying on another wooden cart behind him, covered with a tarp. And that's what we see right now. What are we doing?
I kind of want to do a circle of the site, keeping my distance, but trying to see if there's anything weird I can notice. One of the things I'm definitely looking for is if anything else but the body is burned.
Okay. We have our first investigate a mystery roll, I believe, unless you have another move that you think would do this better.
Works for me.
All right.
Let me pull up
Let us
a
do that
narrative
then.
here. How do I? Sorry, what do I roll to investigate a mystery?
So that is going to be. Wouldn't it be nice if I had opened this other document?
It's plus sharp.
Okay.
It should
that
be
helps.
it's plus sharp. So just
I have
roll.
chosen my
Wait.
-1 skill. Let's see how this goes.
Excellent. 8.
An 8.
Not too bad. Let me go ahead and actually open up the thing with all of the moves in it on one page, so that it does not trouble me any further.
Oh, it's
Seven
2
to 9, you hold
pages.
one. It is.
Of course it is.
Of course,
It
it's
is-
2 pages.
But so on the 79, you hold one. One hold can be spent to ask the keeper one of the following questions. You get one question out of this list. I'll go ahead and repost the list down here so you can
What?
see that too if you need to.
There's so many practical questions on this list, but I want to go with the
Truth.
most interesting one, which is what is being concealed here?
Excellent. Okay. You are looking specifically to see if anything else is burned. And what is being concealed here? So you do note one thing as you're kind of just looking at the area, right? At first, it looks as though nothing else has been burned. And then you look up at the streetlight on the corner. And while it appears as though there's been sort of and actually, I don't know if they'd even be out here that fast. But well, it appears as though there's been kind of actually, I don't know if anyone would even notice that. No, people aren't really looking at that because there's a body nearby, and that's much more interesting. Streetlight is also burned out. And as you look more carefully, you note that actually the glass, it's an electric streetlight. That the bulb isn't in there. From what you can see just from down here, you're not sure if the bulb's even in there, but like the side, some of the glass is also broken. There's some broken glass down around the base of the thing that's also kind of charred.
He's going to pick up a piece of the glass and kind of pocket it in his jacket, and then sidle on over to Esther, and kind of head at the light. Does that look something like what you saw?
What I saw.
Oh, sorry,
like,
not
in the
Esther, not
vision.
Esther. Sorry,
Okay.
not Esther. My bad. Eva.
I mean, the street lights that I saw were of flame, but I mean, I suppose it's similar in a sense.
Anyway, and this is sort of posed to the group. Anybody, any way someone could, like, channel a magical flame or something through a streetlight like that? Could they just burst a fireball out of it? Would I
Things
know
are
that?
possible. I'm not particularly an expert in those who can control things of this world.
Eva, I'm going to also just remind you of one thing as you're thinking back. The streetlights that you saw in your vision exploded and then burst into flame a little bit after that. So it wasn't an initial fire necessarily. The flame did come, but it wasn't immediate.
I'll relay
Saying
this
polite.
then. On second thought, there was an explosion, and then they were aflame. It all happened very quickly. It was just like a little snippet. I couldn't tell you the exact process of the streetlight, but I suppose.
Are there any others in the row that are also blown out and shattered?
You start looking around, just looking up and down the row. There are other streetlights in this area. There are, we're down in, given where we are, yeah, the electric streetlights are on this left side, if you're facing north of the street. And the gas ones are on the opposite side. So it was an electric light that blew. You look up, no, none of the others look like they've been blown out nearby from what you can see.
Okay.
So everyone's like,
surge.
sorry, go ahead.
Not right here. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Good.
I was just gonna say, so this is like being obviously talked about, so we're all kind of looking at the street lamp at this point. Like even it's brought to my attention. Okay. After there's a little bit of a lull in the conversation, I want to go up to the police officer.
Okay.
But if there's other things that want to be talked about first, I kind of just want to like be able to like motion to everyone to kind of like so they realize that I'm going to the police officer. So I'm gonna wait for a lull in the conversation. But if there is a lull, I'm gonna.
Are we for lulls?
I mean, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to interrupt anybody if there was anybody else that wanted to say something. But I want to go up to the police officer and kind of feign this very concerned look on my face and say, "Excuse me, officer, does that look safe to you?" And kind of point to exploded glass lantern on the street where people could be walking.
And just sort of looks, just kind of looks up, and sort of a skinny-looking guy, with a mustache that hangs down droopily, and just kind of is looking up. Yeah.
Do you possibly work on getting that fixed? There's kids around. In the neighborhood, at least. Not maybe right now, but...
There's kids around the murder?
There's kids living in neighborhoods. There's not just, like, no kids in, like, this neighborhood.
I know.
Well,
it's just funny.
The thing is, hang on, I just got it. I'm looking at I'm just checking something real quick. Okay. Yeah. No, there are kids around, because they want to see the body, but they've been trying to. So mostly he's been keeping kids away. But
Good. So he's very concerned about the kids. Maybe he should be concerned about the kids getting hurt first.
And he's like, and he says, "Oh, we're expecting." We're expecting a sweeper's going to come by and take care of it soon, probably.
Soon.
City's going to send someone
walking
out.
around now. It seems like your job to protect the public. I just wanted to. I wanted to bring it to your attention. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was of disinterest.
So you're trying to, I presume, guilt him into picking up pieces of glass, or something similar.
Absolutely, I am.
So this would be manipulate someone, unless you have another move that would be more appropriate already on your sheet. I
mean, I it doesn't really apply. I have truthiness, so whatever you tell a person, they'll accept that you think it's true. So like, I can make him make him believe that I'm very concerned about the children.
Oh yeah.
So like he'll
Yeah, he believes you.
believe that So but I can definitely roll plus charm.
Can I assist with Esther using telepathy?
You can. With the it's funny, each PBTA game, and I really should have checked this beforehand. It's a little bit one of these things where sometimes they tell you to do the assist roll before the roll. Sometimes they tell you to do the assist roll after the roll.
Oh.
And depending on which PBTA game it is. So this one, I'm going to check something real quick. The move is let's see, where do we have it? I know we have it. Help out is the move. Okay. So let me check a thing real quick, so that I can have some degree of thought here. Help out. I think the way this is looking, you do this before. The way this is looking, oh no, it's okay to, well, here it is. It's okay to see what the result is before deciding to help out, as long as it still makes sense that the hunter could do something to help improve the results.
Okay.
Okay.
Which telepathy definitely seems like you could see me failing and be like, oh, no.
And kind of like chop some thoughts in his brain.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So
if you want, you can wait until she. If you want, you can wait until she rolls, but you can still do it. Basically. So describe to me what you're doing with your
All
telepathy.
I'm simply doing with my telepathy is planting some thoughts in his brain. So basically, like, oh God, if I don't get this light fixed immediately and something befalls a child, I am immediately fired. This is of the utmost importance. My job depends on fixing the street light.
Gotcha. So Lonnie got a 7, so that means that you probably needn't roll, because the +1 would only boost it up to 8, and a minus would make it a miss. So you're sort of
potentially count for the I have to do something to for them right now to show them that I mean it. Could that potentially like cover that part of the caveat of rolling on a 7 to a 9?
Well, let's see. They'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it. You haven't asked too much necessarily.
Okay.
But you're going to need to do one other thing here. That's not going to cover it in and of itself, but he is at least sympathetic to the idea. So there is something you will need to do in this conversation. And so he's just sort of looking up and down, and so he's not dismissing you. So he's saying, well, I mean, that's I'm sure it'll be. I kind of.
I can watch a
moved a little closer.
Unmoving object for a few moments while you go take care of it. I just want to make sure it's handled officially.
He's like, all right,
I'll make sure no children. I'll make sure no children come towards the unmoving object.
All right, if you give me a minute, I'll see what I can do.
Absolutely.
So the officer now goes and is carefully trying to. He's gone to look for a brush or something similar, so he can just get the glass into one place, or a broom or something. He can probably find one soon.
Perfect. I will very discreetly call over the non-children that are allowed to go near the unmoving object, because I only said children. But I will still stand guard.
That's your demon contract.
I will still stand guard if there looks like there's any kids. But I will. I think I'll kind of gesture to Eva specifically to come over and look at the body, just so it's not too many people crowding around. That could be something he could still notice. So maybe one person just kind of slipping in.
Yeah. So
Blake
Eva's
is going to distract the children with candy.
excellent. Good. That was
Yes,
gonna ask
that's-
if anyone.
Listen, I have hard butterscotch candies in my pockets.
Love,
Do you think
love,
the kids
I've
will like
got-
those?
No, love. I've got this. Love, I'm the candy expert around here.
Oh dear. Yeah. You have an understanding of how to tempt people with such things. So that is definitely is the. I just imagine that Blake comes out and just has this bag with these little wrapped candies in it, and they're like, and they swarm. The moment he turns on the charm, and they just swarm to him.
Well, come over, children. Yes. Come here.
I want to ask briefly, as Eva is approaching the body, what is yes, this is near one of Silas's churches. I just want to ask, is there anything you're doing right now?
I think maybe like Silas might be like a little bit distracted by maybe like someone that's like constantly like on that corner, like sitting there, probably like, I don't know, like a homeless person that just sits there all the time.
Mhm.
And Silas kind of like meanders to go next to them and like try to make conversation of see if like they like saw anything of what happened to the body.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Tell me one interesting thing about this person.
They're blind.
Okay. So I think this is. Let's see.
Because I got to make it difficult for myself.
I was gonna say, did you just say ask if they saw anything and then make
Yes.
them blind?
Yep.
All right. I mean, we're good. So this is a blind beggar person, I would assume.
Yeah.
Blind street person. So this is Philo, and you just sort of which I'm going with he they, and you're heading over and you want to sort of just engage. You've, like I said, just familiar with this church. You're familiar with this person, and you try to find out if they noticed anything.
I heard anything.
They heard anything?
Or heard anything interesting towards like the body, or if like they were even there when the person was killed.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. When it starts out, it's just like, well. Yeah, I mean, when do you think this is going on? There was some kind of racket late last night.
Kept you up?
Yeah, a little bit. And there was, I heard something. I don't know, it sounded like someone breaking a vase or something, and then they heard like, it was kind of weird. It was this, like somebody was, I think somebody was cooking something. I guess. Sort of like, it's hard to explain, right? Because it was kind of like, you know, when you hear something sizzling, but then there's this thing where hang on, stand by.
Ding by.
Yeah, we're not gonna go. But it's like it wasn't exactly like that though. This is the thing. I can't really place it, but it's like it could be almost like someone. It's like a combination of that and some kind of weird scraping sound, maybe. I almost call it like it's not exactly a metallic scraping sound, but something like that. It was right after the sound that sounded like an expensive vase or something breaking, you know?
Yeah.
And
Well.
I heard there was somebody yelling for a second. They weren't yelling anything specific. They were just kind of like, you know. And then there's just that sound. It's I can't describe it. I'm sorry. I can't describe it very well.
No, it's quite alright.
And there was this weird taste in the air too.
How so?
Yeah.
Like metal or
A little bit, maybe almost coppery a little bit. No.
copper? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Feel like a rainstorm.
mm,
And the air tasted a little bit like during a storm.
okay.
You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
Right before lightning strikes.
Yeah. Kind
Okay.
of got that heightened thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're safe.
And you just sort of be nodding. Yeah. I didn't feel the need for you to roll because again, this guy, kind of really big deal. And he sort of glances up in your direction, kind of. He says, "Yeah, you be safe too. Yeah. Someone's been
Now I-
asking about you.
Who's been asking about me?
Someone.
You did. Well,
Uh,
assure them next time that I'm perfectly fine.
yeah.
Don't take anything.
Yeah.
Don't do anyone special favors.
Well, try. People don't come running. Yeah. What did they say? Yeah. Kay says hi.
Ah, of course he does. And Silas will fish out a couple coins from his pocket and just set it on take the man's hand and set it in his hand.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me shift over real quick. Is there anything before we come back around to Eva? Is there anything that Morgan is doing right now while this is going on?
In the body.
Coming to the body? Okay. So you're
Yeah.
joining the body looky-loo crowd with Eva and Esther. So let us then focus back again on the body looky-loo crowd. Terrible title. So what are we doing?
The worst alternate version of Stand By Me.
Fair.
I feel like you need to peek under the curtain, so to speak.
Yeah. I would also, as we're peeking under the curtain, use the sight to see if I can see anything invisible, especially spirits and magical influences, and I can potentially communicate or maybe make deals with, for some reason, the spirits that I see. They give you more opportunities to spot clues when I investigate a mystery.
Let's investigate a mystery.
Okay.
And chiefly, this will be, Let's see where this goes.
Okay.
So, Eva is going first, and Eva has a 6, which is a miss.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Something always happens, by the way. When I prefer it if something always happens when the dice are rolled. So let's see. So you're looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm going to tell you what you see. All right. I'm going to. We have. I don't know how. This is one of those things where it's hard to tell where the meter for a graphic is. So I'm going to ask first. I'm not going to try to go into too much detail, but this is a burn victim. So please let me know when I need to stop here. I'm not going to get too graphic as far as I can try, but so this individual, this is victim number 5. Let me pull this up. Okay. So this is a so this looks like a man. And sections of the body are burned. Not the entire body. But there's areas around the chest, an arm, and around the head. So no hair. Certain areas. And I think as you're looking and you kind of glance up and you see enough of the face to kind of get an idea about what the guy looked like. And you're trying to figure something out from this. As you're kind of glancing and you see there's some other stuff on the cart, but you don't really have time so much to look at it because as you look up, you look across the street and he's standing there staring at you. This has happened before. This is...
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to very casually, pass the edge of the sheet over to Morrigan without a word. I'm going to begin walking around towards the gentleman across the street.
His hackles are up right now, and he's looking very intensely in your direction.
I will
And-
smile very sincerely in response. Kind of perk up and go, "Oh, hello, sir."
He opens his mouth and you hear a crackling sound. It's weird, right? It's not behaving like a normal spirit necessarily does. You hear, I can't do it exactly, but it's kind of like...
I don't think
Something
your mic
like
is
that.
picking up
Yeah,
what's
you didn't
going
know
on, but
Yeah. Let me try from back here.
Nope. Mike is
No.
still cutting
Anything?
it out.
No.
Discord hates
Nope.
sound effects, so
Discord hates sound effects.
Yeah.
Alas, no one will hear the sound.
Describe it to us using words.
Oh,
that
God.
Don't describe the sound. No, it's
Yeah.
fine.
It's kind of like if something were screaming, but it's almost like it's some sort of machine screaming rather than a person.
I understand perhaps it's a little difficult to speak right now given the circumstances and your rather traumatic death. So perhaps if you could answer my questions with a simple nod of the head or shake of the head, that would be very helpful. Do you think you can do that for me?
He is starting to pace and he's starting to look angry. He's sort of like twisting back and forth. So you're going to need to calm this individual down enough for them to try to communicate with you.
Okay.
Do you have
Can
a
I
move for
see
this?
the person? Because I do have a move for this.
What kind of move are we looking at here?
I've got a soothe. When you talk to someone for a few seconds in a quiet voice, you can calm them down, blocking any panic, anger, or other negative emotions they have. This works if the thing that freaked them out is still present, as long as your voice can be heard. So if they can't hear me, there's no way that would work.
Yeah. Do you have a thing that lets you see dead people?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't have anything like checked off on my sheet. It's like
Okay. So I think that, well, let's see, you are giving children, you are swarmed with children right now, but you will
Fair.
notice that she is talking to someone who cannot be seen. And you take that, given what you know of her, you take that to mean that she's talking to a dead person. So it might be possible. You would probably need to do a thing to be able to see dead people. And I'm sure that's within your abilities. It just sort of depends on what you want to do.
Yeah. I don't know. Ava,
You're gonna need to extricate yourself from the children first.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
So he's gonna look up and see that. But Ava, in the past, how has Ava taken it? If Blake has come and sort of inserted himself in situations like this where you're talking to a spirit.
I'm usually more than welcome to.
Okay.
Yeah, I often appreciate the company.
Okay.
So Silas will distract children.
Okay. I'll motion to
Tag
Silas
team,
and
let's
toss him a bag of candy, and then I will sidle on over to Ava, and I'll look. Can you tell me generally where he is, love?
I'll just kind of nudge in the direction across the street and also add, he appears to be in agonizing pain.
All right. Let's see what we can do about that. And he's going to sort of lean generally where he thinks the person's eyes might be so that he can make eye contact and say, you've had a traumatic experience, but things will work out. There is nothing that can prevent that. You are the master of your own destiny, and these things that you feel are not in control of you. You are in control of them. Realize your own freedom and breathe.
Okay. You were doing a thing.
I am doing a thing.
I've just looked and I see your thing that you have got on this sheet. So this is going to help some. Eva, you are trying to calm this individual down. So I'm going to. We're just going to do unless you have another move specifically for this, I would say this would be also on manipulate someone.
I suppose not. I mean, I have telepathy, but I'm already kind of speaking to him kind of verbally and telepathically, so no.
Yeah. So I mean, the telepathy is helping. So yeah, just go ahead and roll manipulate someone.
Okay, then
And
that's
we'll
just
see
charm.
how this goes. Plus charm. 12.
Hey.
Excellent. Oh, by the way, something I really need to mention here because I forget to mention these things. 2 things I need to mention here. So earlier you rolled a 6, which means you get an XP.
Excellent.
Every time you fail, you get an XP. Please, folks, remember, every time you fail, you get an XP.
Wonderful.
The other thing is, everyone does have luck. There are luck points folks have that you can spend even after you roll, and it'll give you a 12. But because this is a short scenario, you each only have 2 luck points. Please note when you use your second luck point, a thing may happen. That is, each of your characters are different. Each of your playbooks is different. A thing may happen that is a result of your use of luck, and that'll appear on your playbook. So you've got a 12 plus, and so they're going to become your ally for the rest of this mystery.
Wonderful.
Ooh.
Which is going to put you in an interesting point. I'm going to come back to you now.
Okay.
in a moment, as this is gonna take a thing. So we're gonna. I just want to cover one or two more little things, and then I think we're gonna need to take a break. But I do want to hop back real quick to the body, as we have Morgan and Esther there with the body. And what are we doing?
I mean,
Just,
I'm gonna
just
look at
looking
it.
at it, trying to figure
Ava
stuff
just
out.
wandered off, like she tends to do sometimes. So,
So Morgan, she handed it over to you. Go ahead and investigate a mystery. Okay.
crap.
So you were looking.
This shouldn't phase me, considering.
It's not
but-
going to phase you. It's not going to phase you exactly. And what it tells you is that this person was not burned normally. You can tell that. There is something. You think there may be something arcane about this? It's unclear. And you're gonna see that you're gonna realize something. Stop me, folks, if this is too slightly morbid. So like there's a there's like there's like a sort of, you think that there's like his personal effects were also on the cart. I say were because it's like there's like a sock dangling. And as you sort of glance back over where Silas is entertaining the children, you realize that a couple of them are wearing ill-fitting clothing, which is normal. But as sort of looking back and forth, it's like, as you see that one of them is wearing kind of this sort of tool belt looking thing that you'd use in a factory, or not even maybe in a place where they make stuff. It's like, did these kids steal this guy's clothes?
I wouldn't put it past him.
So,
Worth something.
and from what you can tell from here, the clothes don't look charred or burned or anything. They're moving around pretty quickly. But it looks like the clothes are fine, probably, if these are this guy's clothes, which you're not entirely sure. And I think if we're okay with this, I think we should probably go ahead and take a quick break. If we would be all right with that.
Yeah, sounds great.
Unless they
I did want to potentially be sketching, like kind of standing at a place where it looks like I have a good vantage point of making sure the children aren't near the cart, but I have to see
Right.
the cart to be able to have a good vantage point. I was gonna kind of like, as Morgan was looking and kind of putting all this together, be sketching and try to see if I can like any patterns to the burns or like stuff like that. Like
Okay.
obviously I can't get a good sketch, but
let's go ahead and you go ahead and investigate a mystery, and we'll see what this
Please do
is, and
better than me.
when we come back, we'll talk more about it.
sure. All right,
Let's see what
I
it is.
will just roll a sharp really fast. Got a
That is
9.
9. So you are going to get to ask one question.
Okay.
From the investigative mystery list,
Perfect.
which we will get into when we come back.
Sounds good.
We
Right.
will see you folks shortly.
See you soon.
Hello, we are back. We have we have a dead person that we've been looking at, and so I'd like to find out what it is that we're looking to. So, Esther, you've got one question from the list. Before you answer, I'd like to know, at this scene, I'm going to make the assumption that Alfie has already taken, surreptitiously, he's trying to take photos without the flash powder, so we don't know how they're going to come out.
Yes, I was wondering if we'd be able to pull off him taking a picture considering the process it takes. But yeah, if he's able to, even if it's from a distance, even if it's without the flash.
He's going to try to do a thing where it's like he gets something fairly close up and he doesn't know how it's going to come out. Then he's going to go across the street and try to take a picture from there.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where it's like the cop he's got to wait for the exact moment because he doesn't want the cop to see exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, but Alfie is very eager to help / get noticed / just, be just be involved. That seems totally like him without me even having to say it. Just
he's working on it. So I just wanted to know where he was for this purpose. So what question do you want to ask?
So I don't know. There are some questions that I wasn't really sure if I'd be able to glean from looking at the body, but I do.
You can bend things in a certain direction, perhaps.
Okay. I do want to see if I can figure out what sort of creature it is based on the attack patterns.
So you have read a certain amount of folklore, I would assume.
Absolutely.
Well, there are others who are probably more versed in it, but I assume that you've looked into as much of this kind of thing.
Eva's working on getting me as supernaturally literate as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teaching her.
So you're remembering.
Channeling it.
So you're remembering looking at books, looking at a particular book that Eva showed you at some point. As you are looking at this corpse, and you see the burn marks, and you kind of look, and it's like there's a lone sock dangling down near the end that hasn't been burned at all. And again, this is, you're just sort of been looking back, and you're sort of sketching some things, and you look up at the street light and you're sketching some things, and it's like, just the thought strikes you, wouldn't it be funny if something came up out of the street light and attacked this person? It's an electric street light. And this thing this idea forms in your brain. This idea that you remember something in one of those books that Eva showed you about a type of creature. They're loosely called elementals. But it's not just fire, water, earth, air. This would be more, it depends what tradition you're looking at, right? So for folks who are more into fire, water, earth, air, this would be considered like a border elemental. But it's like, there is, you swear, not too long ago, you read about something called a lightning elemental.
Hey. I'll as I'm starting to piece this together, I think I'm going to kind of look up towards the light that's shattered and almost kind of like trace it. Well, I guess I'd start at the body, trace up towards the street light, and then kind of look down the pole and kind of realize that we might need to follow the source of electricity for that.
Yeah.
And being unaware of that sort of thing, that's going to be something where she's going to have that like excited realization on her face. Then, oh, yeah.
Yeah. City grid.
She's clueless about that sort of stuff. She probably knows somebody that can help her get there. No idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So if it
Um,
came in on the city grid, burst out of the lamppost, it would probably look like this.
um,
And
she'll
someone would have to have summoned the thing, probably.
it's great because this actually goes along great with her thought patterns already. So I think after she kind of comes to this realization, I think she's going to probably motion to Morrigan to like kind of start going back to the rest of the group just in case the cop comes back. But will first kind of give her the idea of, you know, a lot about electricity, right? Science-y stuff.
INC stuff, sure.
Ever heard of something that travels through it? Elemental of sorts. Ring a bell?
What do I roll to know that?
Well, let's look at
Roll my
something
weird?
here.
I mean,
Well, do you unless you have a particular move that involves
no.
knowledge of these things, I'm just going to look and see based on what we know about your character. Now that this is coming to the fore, that while this is not exactly from what I remember about your character, while this is not exactly your wheelhouse per se, have you had contact with with folks who use magic?
Would probably say yes in a small sense. Not like major like rituals or anything, but definitely people who dabble. Maybe some
Okay.
who are kind of successful.
Yeah, elementals are a very basic concept, so you'd have heard of that from that, from that understanding. So it's like, yeah, it's most folks. It'd be an obscure one, but yeah, probably there could be, yeah, if you have something that's made out of electricity, which is probably not something that's occurred to you directly before, but it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
It's not in the realm of impossible anymore. Yeah, that's fair.
No, it could be done. Especially within and you've seen this city transform.
Right.
And this is when this hits you. You've seen this city transform over the last few decades. He says the word decades quietly. And yeah, they've put in. It just was within the last couple of decades when they were just starting to put in. Last decade or so, they started putting in the electric lights. And like, it's been a major transformation. As this is going on, it's been, it's kind of started in the middle, kind of started around Midtown, and has been coming further down and also spreading further north. And there every day you see more and more things, primarily for electric lights, but then also for other uses of electricity. That the Edison company came in and made some kind of deal with Tammany Hall to be able to get get their utility in, and so it's currently it's still privately held actually, but you have to make a deal in order to make it happen. Just with the sheer amount of electric lights and electric devices that are proliferating, it's actually almost a little. You can see how someone might find it a little scary if they, as to how far such a creature could go if they were made of electricity. Potentially. If the conditions were right.
We know where the other 4 bodies were.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the locations.
And they're all around electric street lamps.
Well, you haven't been to look at the locations, but I can tell you, maybe someone has that you can ask. But I will tell you that if you like, you can have the locations. Let me. Did I close that window? No, I didn't. It's over here. Excellent. The other 4 bodies. Yeah. In one's first one was up in Midtown. Second one. Was on the east end of the Garment District. The 3rd and 4th were found on the same day, a couple of days later, in the sort of the northeastern part of Greenwich Village. Yeah, no, so well north, a little east of center. And then, of course, there was the one this morning, which is found, where you are standing now. And it wouldn't take much to find out. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But you probably find that out. That wouldn't be too hard to find out.
Okay.
Is that something that I would probably know, considering I am a reporter and kind of prowl the news to make sure I'm following stuff as quick? Like, maybe not specifically offhand, yes, electrical, no electrical, but like general places where maybe we could piece together, like I remember seeing.
Yeah, well, you know that you sent Alfie out to get pictures.
Okay, so then
these areas.
I technically have the ability. Well, I guess I don't know if it would really help right now, but it could just be something where maybe I've investigated it already. If that,
yeah, you can basically
is like voiced.
If you want to like wave him over and ask to see the pictures, you can totally do that.
Great. And so I think she's gonna have that initial fear of like what she just realized kind of leave from her and almost kind of have like a light bulb moment. And it's not because she realized that Alfie probably has the pictures.
Literally.
It's because she realized that this fits into her stories perfectly.
That's fair.
So all of a sudden she has this new vigor to like call over Alfie and follow the lead and everything like that. So she'll kind of
snap a picture, and then he looks and he sees you sort of waving, and he's like and so, yeah.
And as he's coming over, she's writing in her notebook, kind of like scrambling, writing as much as she can, and she's like, the demons are in the smokestacks and in the power grid.
So I'm just going to say you're able to bring him over, and he'll feel like, do you need something? Do you need,
the pictures that you took of the other victims, any electrical any electrical?
Yeah, sure thing. I think there was an electrical. What, like
electrical lights, electrical buildings, anything that would be
lampposts and and he's going and he's digging through and he's pulling out the pictures, and you all are looking at the pictures, and you will see as you flip through the pictures of the other sites, every single one you're going to find as you start going through them, there is a burned out street lamp in each one of these pictures. I'm going to shift back across the street now to where a conversation is happening. So this individual just sort of he looks like he's in his late 30s, maybe. He's wearing ghost clothing. So it's basically he appears as he imagines he should, which is just right now he's wearing a vest and a flat cap. Basically, he looks kind of like this. He's got like a utility harness. that also on, and he's like trying to. It's like something is troubling him. He's like.
Okay. Sorry. I understand you must be in a lot of pain and everything that happened must be quite torturous. Are you able to at least answer a few of our questions just so we can get you some justice?
And something seems to calm him down as he is looking at your friend Blake. As he's like,
Wonderful. First, I suppose I will.
You could talk, love, if you. Oh wait, I can't hear him. Never mind.
yeah. Well, I mean, do you want to do something to try to be able to see and hear this person?
That's the second time you've asked me that, and I don't know if there's something I should be thinking of that I'm not thinking of.
Oh no, I don't know. It's your character, so I don't know if they have.
I don't think
a thing or not.
Did
you? All right.
A way to see him right now.
Yeah. Okay.
At least not one he'd be willing to use.
Yeah. Yeah. You know there are ways. It's just a question of how big do you want to go out here on the street? I guess, yeah. So yeah, it basically sort of blank. But I will give you this. You do, the longer you stand here, the more you do get the sense of this individual a little bit.
Okay.
This it's not exactly a damned soul. Not exactly. Something different. Okay. So yeah, he's nodded, and he said something like yes.
Sir, I'm afraid I will start with a little bit of a cliche question. Do you know who did this to you?
And as he looks back and forth, he's like, Jim wants badly to speak with a distorted voice, but is worried that it won't pick him up. He'll try for a moment.
I didn't know the guy. But it was. I knew that it was. I didn't see him. He was not human. It was a thing. Looked as arms, legs, like a. Like, and he raises his hands,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a spark of electricity go back and forth between his hands, and he's like, and he looks at it, and he looks actually a little scared himself as he looks that he's able to do this, and his skin ripples and turns bluer for a moment as he does this, and he's like, and then stops.
Most peculiar. Can you think of a human that would want to do this to you? Can you tell me at least who you are? Perhaps share a little about yourself. I'm Eva.
Bose.
Bones?
Bose. Wallace.
Wallace. And what exactly did you do while you were alive, Mr. Wallace?
He points over to the place that sells glass bottles, and a little further down, where there is a glass factory.
Glass factory. Hmm. Just trying to think if there's anything else I should ask this gentleman.
Can you ask if he'd ever seen anything like the creature before?
Have you ever seen anything like this creature before? Have you seen anything strange during your time in this realm? Interesting. Well, you have been a great help, and we will track down whoever did this to you. If there's anything else you can think of that may assist us in our journey, please do share.
I have to figure this out. After he says, burning fellow talked to. He just sort of points over to Philo, but don't think it was involved. Much later. That I don't know if it was where you are or where I am.
So you said burning fellow?
Blue flame horns.
Ah, and this gentleman was where exactly?
Just sort of gestures over to the blind guy sitting on the corner in front of the church.
Ah, and I'm sorry, you saw him when?
Oh, this morning before dawn.
That is very, very...
Many hours, I think, after. I'm dead. Yes. I'm dead, yeah.
Yes. Well, this has been most helpful, and I need to reassure you, I know it must be very frightening to be dead right now, but I know many dead people, and they're rather enjoying it. For some of it, it's like a party over there.
Just hope the kids are going to be okay.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be fine. I'll make sure that they're looked after.
You do, I'll
Details, if
help
you're
you
gonna
any
promise
way I
that,
can.
love.
I will. I'll make sure they're taken care of.
Okay. Thank you. He's like, again, he jolts for a second, is like, he's having a little trouble. This is not normal spirit behavior. Something's messing with him. It's like not all of him is there.
Well, feel free to tag along with us on our journey. You have all the time in the world now.
He nods.
We are going to continue to look into how we can help you. But in the meantime, your company is most welcome.
I will tell, and he will just be like, and he will kind of fade a bit. He's still there, but he's not as visually present right now. Perhaps when he's not as visible, he can better fight whatever it is that's got him. I am going to mention briefly to Silas that you did note, as you've been looking around, that during that conversation that was going on over there across the street, they did at some point look over toward Philo, toward the end of the conversation.
Wait, look towards where?
Toward the blind individual
okay.
that you spoke to earlier.
Okay. starting to sweat a little bit.
Yeah, I'll begin to return to the others and see if there's a way that we can convene.
Yeah. It shouldn't be too difficult. And I will say, you folks also did note that Silas went over and talked to that blind person earlier, so they might know. Silas might know something.
Yeah.
So, yes. You're all able to convene.
As we do, so I'm gonna just quickly relay everything that was told to me.
Writing down frantically.
As you mentioned the blue flame horns thing, I look at Silas.
You have something to say, Morgan? I can feel your eyes in the back of my head.
I don't feel like I need to say it. I feel like you would understand it.
I mean, there's not a lot of secrets here. You can talk to any of us if you like. Isn't that right, Morgan?
She just side-eyes him. Looks back at Silas. Talking about Silas right now. Anyway.
Well, the church is right down the street. We can go in there and talk. There's some private rooms in the back where we won't be disturbed.
Excellent.
Get out of the sun anyway.
Has the cop showed face at all at this point?
Yeah, I mean the cop is back. Is heading back. You can see with a broom and a dustpan.
Perfect. Let me just keep my post for another minute or two, just not to raise any suspicion. Pretending to look very seriously at the kids.
Tell you what, let me take over. Y'all know I upstairs doesn't like me much going into churches with my reputation with him, so
my church welcomes all. I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Might be more of a problem than you think. Wouldn't want, Anyway, I'll take the post. Y'all go to the church. It'll be fine.
All right, you heard the man, Morgan. Let's go to church.
It's your church.
Yes, it is.
Follow Silas.
I'm just going to do one quick thing before we cut over to the people heading into the church. And that is, Blake, as you're taking up your post and just waiting for the cop to sweep up the broken pieces, from the alleyway behind you, you just hear
Blake is going to sigh, hang his head, and look around behind him into the alley. And then
for just a moment, and alas, I can only do this for about a moment, you see an older gentleman wearing a top hat whom you recognize quite a bit. And sort of dressed in black. And as he just glances from you to the body, and he nods and he says to you, "It seems you've netted yourself a rather important case."
Must be, if you're visiting me, Wormwood. I'll step back into the alley with Wormwood, like 3 or 4 steps, so that they're out of earshot and visuals of most of the people around the body. What can I do for you on this fine day?
This appears to be a chain of events. That is
You lot love your
something we
chains.
can't look at directly, but perhaps you can.
All right.
Your lot have not quite got involved in this yet, but I believe they're seeking opportunities to get their oar in.
All right. Not precisely my lot, and you know that, but take
Of
your meaning.
course. Of course. Of course.
Any help to be provided here, or just continue to do what we were already doing?
And he will say, I can tell you there's a victim missing from the very beginning.
6. Not
There are thus far 6.
right.
The pattern of their plan is unclear to us, but I should recommend finding one, and quickly, as there's likely not much time.
See. So this sounds like this is slightly more important than a minor magical serial killing.
Quite.
Hmm.
Rather, it has potential to erupt from the one realm of a minor magical serial killing to a rather broader and greater one.
Blake pulls out the quill that he's always playing with and plays with it a little too close to Wormwood's face because he knows that makes him uncomfortable. All right. Anything at all about where we could look for this mystery first victim?
I should say you already know the locations. Look at them and work your way backwards. And he steps back into a shadow and is there no more.
Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Beautiful, bloody... Blake turns out of the alley and goes to walk towards the church to see his, to give all this information to his teammates and friends, and then looks at the church and stops and takes 3 steps back and leans against a lamppost and waits for them to come back out.
Yeah. Righto. So, inside the church, what's happening?
Well, I would assume there'd be like 1 or 2 people just kind of meandering in the main hall, silently praying.
Stone building.
Mm-hmm.
It's a corner church. It's not huge.
Yeah.
Like sort of little big chapel size kind of. So we've got the arches, and then it's Catholic, so they're trying to do imitations of flying buttresses, but it's a very small building, so they can't really. Pillars, pews, altar.
Sorry,
standard.
my light bell.
You look like you're bathed in holy light for a second.
Well, yeah. It decided to take a nosedive off my monitor. Oh. Well, yeah, and then Silas would just lead them towards the back. And, in his, office, I guess, and, close the door.
Yeah, sure. There are rooms around back. You just go around the side, and there are offices back there.
If there's any light coming in through the windows, Morgan is avoiding it as much as she can.
You went on the opposite side, a different aisle all the way down.
Parasol's closed and like in her hands with the parasol parts down, but she is actively avoiding any light that's coming through any stained glass, regular glass, whatever.
Fair. All right, so you told us about your spirit friend. And I did learn from the blind man on the corner that he did witness the murder. He's blind, so he didn't see it. However, he did say he smelled something similar to something right before lightning strikes. Like that certain charge in the air.
Well, that would make a lot of sense considering it was some kind of lightning elemental.
No.
Huh.
How'd you figure that one
figured
out?
it out.
The patterns on the body. I looked at the body for a few minutes and it kind of just reminded me of one of the books that you had me read, Ava.
Such a good learner.
Well, I'm always taking notes. And it seems that my theory about demons being in industry all around us is also important because all of a sudden they're in the power grid. So not only are they just, it just adds so much to the story. It really makes a lot of sense, and I don't even know why I didn't see it before, but now we have to be careful of electricity too. I thought it was such a handy invention.
So did I.
My question is, the demon with the blue horns, how prevalent was that information?
I mean, the gentleman I spoke with, Mr. Wallace, seemed to think it was unrelated, but I do think it is a rather strange coincidence.
I am going to tell you that it is unrelated. However, not... It's in our circle because I know that individual.
You know a demon?
Yes. And Miss Morgan here's met him too.
She's gonna say this in kind of a hushed voice, but you're a priest.
Ah, yes. I am constantly reminded about that fact, but we're quite close. You catch my drift.
Do the followers know?
Of course they don't know. They would stop coming. It's my personal business anyways.
She's like she was starting to scribble something down, and then as soon as you said that they don't know, she like scratches it out. Not to be added into the
headlines. Local priest in love with demon.
Look at you.
Hey, listen, it would be the story of my life.
It would.
But it would
no one would believe you.
My life, so
you might as well be renamed Cassandra.
Enquire. Done.
Yeah. He says, at first I thought the blue flames had to do with him, but upon learning it's lightning based, I don't think it's in the same vicinity.
I mean, I did see blue flames in the vision provided, and perhaps he just knows information. Perhaps we should call him up and ask.
Be a demon here, like to interview. Can we interview him? Can I get like word bits from him?
Yeah, if he's in the mood for it.
Would he be able to get a picture? Does he show up on camera?
I don't know. I haven't tried.
Fast.
I'm not a picture person myself, but there's a little ritual I have to do in order to get him here, but he has been vying for my attention recently.
So perhaps the blue flames meant passionate romance after all.
He was like, Silas's ears sort of go red at that.
Were you not, Ava? You were getting covered in blue flames as well?
Yes.
Right. Don't make him angry?
Perhaps.
Or I feel like you're going down the right path with he might know things.
Exactly. He was in the area at least.
All right. Well, it can't hurt to ask a few questions, I suppose.
How long does that ritual take?
But a mere few seconds.
Oh.
And he like takes the earring off of his ear and like holds it in the palm of his hand and gives it a kiss.
Are you summoning your friend into the church?
Yes. But I feel like it's happened before.
Okay.
Because that's like
true. It has. It has.
Yeah.
It's happened before because that's how I met Silas.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Because it's like, I feel like it's not, there's certain parts of the church that are not truly sanctified, like maybe the office spaces and like the surrounding areas, but not
Your
like
bedroom.
the whole chapel. Yeah.
Okay.
The chapel itself is like kind of off limits space, but anything around I think is pretty game.
Yeah. Okay. So
Or it could be
here's
like
the thing I need to do here
sword of possession.
as we are.
You know.
I'm sorry.
Or it could be like he either manifests or it's like maybe he like possesses someone. I don't know.
That could be possible.
I have a feeling it would either be Ava or me or some random passerby.
Oh my god!
It's
If he
gonna possess Alfie, isn't it?
possesses me,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I can't write anything. So then your story is
Aw.
totally safe.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
also possible. I mean, so possession might be a potential thing. I kind of am thinking though the way that this usually happens is more that they usually will just manifest.
Yeah.
They also he has the ability to not look like a demon, doesn't he? I would assume so. So
Yeah.
it's just a question of that. But so as you are, you're making a call, and I think as you are reaching out, I think Eva, you're going to notice that Bose, who is standing kind of in the back, he's taken his cap off because he's in a church, is going to like twist for a moment and be like, and there's this sort of crackle of energy nearby, as though things are a little weird here. As far that's not a good way to say it. After effects, maybe I should say, of whatever happened here last night. Not in this church, obviously, but in this corner area, these blocks, right? And everyone feels for a moment a little bit of a tingling sort of sensation. And outside, I need to ask, this is going to be a weird ask, but I need to ask Blake to act under pressure for me, and I will explain why depending on how things go.
Oh no.
Since I'm telling you very little right now, I feel as though this won't result in anything too terrible, but I need to see something.
Is that cool?
Act under pressure is
It is cool.
cool roll. Yep.
Okay.
7. Mixed success.
Excellent. Okay. Worst outcome, hard choice, participate. Here's the thing. There is a very familiar, there's a kind of familiar feeling. Someone you might know may be coming into this church. And so if you want to know who it is, you're probably going to need to step inside.
Yeah, I think Blake's first instinct upon hearing that is that his friends might be in danger if something is crossing the border and threatening the sanctity of the church itself. So he's going to take the cross off of his belt and extend the chain whip out of it, the razor whip, sorry, and run across the street and burst through the doors of the church.
Okay. You're bursting through the doors of the church. You don't see anyone. There are a couple of people praying and, sort of on the left-hand side. You don't see your friends right here. They might be around. Maybe they're in the back.
Yeah, he'll
If they're still in
seeing
the
there's
building.
nothing's on fire and there isn't a demon trying to tear through the walls. He'll retract the whip and put it on his belt, but move quickly towards the back.
Move quickly towards the back. And you will see this from a distance as you kind of see from outside the room that they're in. They're in an office. So there's a hallway and then there's an office. The people inside the office will hear someone approaching before Blake approaches. And just hear these footsteps coming. And I'm going to ask Miri to tell us, if this person were human, what do you think they would look like?
Very androgynous. Like dressed sort of masculine, but has really long, flowy, wavy hair. Their right ear has the other earring that Silas wears. Same earring. Long nails. Maybe like a shawl or something, just to be like, oh yeah, wearing a shawl at church. Just be like, haha, this is funny, sort of moment. And then high heels, because why the fuck not?
Of course. So you hear these high heels clicking as this individual is coming into the room. Blake, you'll just catch a glimpse of this person as they are going into that room. And you think their name is Kane, if you remember correctly? Or that's a name they go by? You never really know whose side they're on. They're very capricious. You remember that much. And this being steps into the room, looks at everyone, and says, "Oh, this is going to be a bigger party than I thought." And just turns on $1 million smile, looks over at Silas and says, "Hello, darling." And I think that's where we're going to actually end for this week, if folks would be all right with that.
Good
Sounds
stuff.
great.
Such a good stopping point. Love it.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent.
Meet my
I
boy.
adore
Thank
the
you all
chaos
very
we're
much.
creating so far.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bunch
Like-
of fun conversations next time.
Not that I call Silas out on Maine, but you
Gotta.
I gotta.
I just love that you have a ritual booty call.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the point of being romancing a paranormal being if I can't summon them?
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you all so much. We're going to go ahead and go around and do our outros. Feel free to plug whatever you like, tell folks where they can find you, and give any final thoughts or a thing you liked in particular, perhaps if there were things that you liked about during this session. And I'm going to go in reverse order from the way that we started, which means that we will be starting with Robin.
Robin, Ginger Brigade on Twitch and Blue Sky. You are going to see a lot of me this month. I actually have 4 different streams, 5 if you count the second half of this. I had Slug Blaster earlier. On the 25th, I will be playing Fathomless Gears with Danella. If you like Lancer and looking at it instead of like being mechs fighting each other, but mechs fighting giant fish and slamming them onto hooks to go fishing, come and check it out. It's really fun. I've played it once before. It is more fun than you think. Not gonna lie. And then on the 29th, I will be playing Pathfinder with James, because James is fun to have as a DM. I was a 5e girl, and I'm slowly moving to Pathfinder, and the Caravan is to blame. But then also Artley here for our second session, which I think we said is the 19th, right? Yeah. So next Friday, we'll continue this fun stuff. But yeah, that's where you can see me.
Excellent. Thank you so much. This is I am really enjoying what we've seen of Morrigan thus far, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things
Do more in the second half, hopefully.
happen. Yeah. And now we're going to head over to Mikey.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mikey Fatum. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Vengeance God, on Instagram at Broken Infinity Films, and on what is it called? TikTok at Vengeance God 2. I'm the host of 3 podcasts on the Ace of Geeks podcast network, which are the Ace of Geeks podcast, where 4 best friends get together every week and talk about 4 nerdy things they watched that week and then make them fight to the death. Yavin Radio, which is our improvised Star Wars podcast. If you like Lower Decks and Hello from the Magic Tavern, you'll love this. Second season is airing now. And Edge of Reality, which is our TTRPG podcast. We have 2 seasons so far. The first one is Kids on Brooms, and the second one is Candlekeep. And coming up at the end of this month, on July 30th to 31st, we are going to be finally airing the amazing finale to the amazing Bite Marks campaign I was on at Neon Lights Roleplay. Al, who is our incredible GM, is in the chat and just popped in right now. Hi, Al. We'll also be doing a complete rewatch of the previous episodes, along with cast talkbacks and stuff from the 26th to the 28th. Keep an eye on Neon Lights Roleplay for more details for that. And finally, my baby, The League of Swords, we are airing new episodes on YouTube right now. It is a show that I've developed that combines the storytelling of professional wrestling with sword fights and a like 90s sci-fi fantasy storyline. If that all sounds good to you, head to leagueofswords.com and you can find out more about our upcoming events and our YouTube channel. Thank you. I have too many things.
Excellent, excellent. And now we are going to head over to Miri.
Hi, I'm Yuri. You can find me at Mirandamia on Blue Sky and Real Mirandamia on Twitter. I hardly use either, so good luck. I will be. Let's see. I have a one shot over on High Shelf for Omega, and then I have the second Monster of the Week, and then later in the month I have Thirsty Sword Lesbians Part 2 and Pathfinder at the end of the month, and then maybe Old Gods later on. Should be fun.
Yay. Excellent, excellent. And now over to Lonnie.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Lonnie, or Looney Shaws. I cannot be found on the internet for gaming purposes, other than obviously just in the Discord or when I am streaming. I deleted Twitter around the time when everyone's like, well, this is going to end tomorrow probably. So, and I was like, well, okay, I'm going to let it end tomorrow for myself.
It's a smart decision.
Smart.
So sadly, right now, I don't have anywhere to really talk about what I'm doing, but if you want right now, I can give you a little blurb. So actually, I'm realizing that I'm pretty sure all the things that I'm in for the next 2 weeks are also similar things that Other Doc is also in for the next 2 weeks. So this might sound really familiar for you, but tomorrow, we are going to be playing Flabbergasted over on this channel, which is going to be very excited. I have clearly bought the book and I had it before I was actually able to play it. So I was just like waiting for the moment where I could pull it out and be like, I can use the physical copy to make my character. And then next week, the 18th, is Don't Rest Your Head, run by Mary on this channel, which is going to be very exciting. Basically, think you're an insomniac, and not only is it deep and dark and all that sort of stuff, but also it gives you superpowers of a sort. Such a cool idea. And then the day after, we're going to be back here again. So a lot of really cool things all on here. So it's really easy to find me. If you were like, wait, what channel did she say she was on again? Here. But yeah, that's all for me.
Yay. Excellent, excellent. And finally over to Danny.
Hi, yeah, I'm Daniela everywhere on the internet. You can find me here every other Monday for our long-running Lancer campaign, Lancer Hellsgate. You can also find me back here next Tuesday for our The Walking Dead 2-part, GM'd by Sam. It's a really exciting game where I'm gonna kill Hoop before he kills me. Other than that, I have Fathomless Skiers coming up on the 25th with Robin. I'm super excited to fish for some Eldritch Horrors. And then you might hear some things later about our Old Gods of Appalachia campaign coming back. And I'm pretty sure I think there's more, but I can't think of it now. So that's pretty much everything I have going on at the moment.
Yay. Awesome, awesome. Thank you all so much. This has been a delight watching your characters interact and starting to investigate. This is very cool. As for me, I'm Jim Ryan. I am a what am I? It's a good question. I am a writer, streamer, and podcaster. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. what am I doing? Well, some of these things you've been hearing about. Tomorrow evening, I'm going to be back on this channel playing Flabbergasted. I am playing one of the staff, and it's going to be delightful because I am a fan of Wodehouse, so I'm very excited for that. On Sunday, hopefully, on Sundays I do over on my channel, which is Otherdoc, OTHERDOC. Sunday afternoons, I run a game of Alas for the Angry Void, which is Alas for the Awful Sea, but reskinned to be a spacefaring Gothic sci-fi epic thingy. And so that's another Powered by the Apocalypse game. And so we're having a lot of fun with that. So that's on Sunday afternoon. Then next week on Thursday, 1 week from today, I will be back here, but I will be playing Don't Rest Your Head. I am incredibly excited. I've been running Don't Rest Your Head for a ridiculously long period of time, and finally I get to play. So I think that's going to be very cool. And then come back for part 2 of this story on Friday, the 19th. So that's a week and a day from now, and we shall see how the story Lights Out concludes. Thank you all very much. I very much appreciate it. When we go to presumably to the end card, we're going to send a raid over to Enchanting Sorcery. It looks like they're playing Dragon Age, and so we're going to go check them out and say hi. Feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us. In the meantime, folks, take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.